Check, 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 check. Hello, guys. Man, I am really excited and really also sad that it's been a while. I think it's been maybe a month since I've streamed. I could be wrong. But it's just been sort of a scattered year. And that's because we're working on this game called Twisted Tower. And me and my team are just really sort of in our own little bunker making this game. But I figured I'd live stream today and hopefully more frequently now that we sort of have a lot of momentum. So we're going to jump inside of Unity today and we're going to make this arena system. And the arena system is going to lock the player into a room with some, well, they're basically like creepy Teletubbies. And hopefully that'll make the game a lot more fun. So I will see you guys on the other side. Where is it? There it is, I think. There it is. By the way, guys, feel free to download my free 2D game kit below. It's totally free. It's my treat to you. I used this exact 2D game kit to make a game for PewDiePie in 14 days, and then I got to play it in front of his subscribers, which was really awesome. So download that. Use it however you want. It's my treat to you. Yeah. Okay. Okay, before we jump into Unity, I wanted to ask a question. Let's have a little bit of fun here. What is if you had to describe what a game is with one word, if you had to describe what a game is with one word, what is that word? Okay, let's see in the chat. What is the one word that describes what a video game is? Nope. 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 No, because that could be movies, that could be books. What is a game? And you got to really be thinking about what separates a game from art. No, it's not a simulation. That's not a game. Okay. There it is. Jamaico. I think Jamaico is the closest to what a game is. So this is a debatable answer, but challenge, that's a really good word. Okay. Mine is actually going to be rules. So my answer is something like rules or limits. Otherwise, guys, it's just a narrative experience or an interactive movie. It's not a game necessarily. Now, obviously, this is supposed to spur on debate, right? I'm not 100% correct here. The reason I bring that up is because we're creating limits today. That's what we're doing. See, what me and Felipe, who is the 3D artist and the level designer for Twisted Tower, what we figured out was, well, limits are actually, well, there's not enough limits in the game, okay? So what we're going to do is when the player enters this, he collects the pistol. Once he collects the pistol and he enters this room here, these Teletubbies are going to begin fighting him, okay? We're going to lock the player in to the room. So we're going to close a door here. We're going to close a door here. We're going to close a door here. And we're going to close a door here. And again, the reason is because of limits. Limiting the player is what makes this fun. It's what makes hide and seek fun when I play it with my kids, right? Because there's rules and boundaries, and thus a challenge. When I'm on vacation, I was recently in Hawaii. Vacation is fun for only so long. And then it starts to get kind of boring because there's really no limits. That's what makes a game fun. There are limits and boundaries, okay? All right. Now, the next thing I wanted to talk about was this little error here. The error is related to this script called CS, or Arena CS, okay? Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I'm actually going to be taking a script from another game we're working on. It's about a dog. And we're going to just retrofit that script, okay? So I've copied and pasted it into this project. And the reason why this is significant is because, guys, when you make your scripts generic and global and, well, maybe universal, you can actually take those scripts and retrofit them into any of your games. So it really speeds up the process, okay? So I've got this script here called Arena. And basically what it does is it just finds doors, locks those doors, and it also checks to see if an enemy on a list has been killed, okay? So what I'm going to do is just fix some of these errors here. And these errors are just basically because of the previous sorry, I'm in some conversations with some publishers for Twisted Tower. So I'm trying to schedule some meetings. Okay, so we have some errors here from the other game we're working on. And so we're going to go into this script and retrofit it into this game. So this class is actually called enemy default in this game. So that should fix it. There we go. Yeah? No? Okay, let's take a look and see. Yep, there we go. We just got to make sure we import that class or namespace. Okay, same here. Enemy default. Good. Get enemy default. So what that's doing is it's going to basically look for any children that contain the enemy class. And this arena is going to find all those enemies, and those are the enemies you have to kill to open the door. Okay. All right, let's keep going here. So I think this class here, we need to make sure we import the namespace. Nope, it's going to be new player. Is it new player? No, it's game manager. Sorry, I'm working on two different games here, so I get confused. How the scripts work. It's crazy because we kind of have to work with two different languages in a way because we've got two totally different cores or systems for this game, which is called Brave Boy. It's a game about a dog, and then we've also got this game Twisted Tower. So game manager dot man. I totally forgot. It's been a month since I've worked on this game. Okay, so let's go to our player script. Player controller. There it is. Okay. Yep. Okay, so I think that's what it's called. Player controller. So it's game manager. Player controller. Dot current arena. That doesn't exist. Okay, so we need to go into our player controller, create a new string, and add that to our list here. Reference, that's good. We'll put it here. This is going to be public, but we do want it hidden in the inspector. So it's going to be a string. Okay, good. So public string, and this is going to be arena. So basically what this is going to do is going to tell us, actually no, it's going to be a public arena. There we go. And set it to arena. Good. So that doesn't exist for some reason. We probably need to drag it into the proper folder because it's kind of confused. So let's go back to Unity here, and we're going to take so we have our player controller script here in this folder here. So we need to make sure we go to our arena script and drag it into that folder. Okay. So if we close out all the unnecessary folders here, it's kind of a pain in the butt, guys. Man, I chose a really boring topic to stream today. But hopefully that we'll have some fun here, okay? So let's go ahead and, man, there's so much going on in this project. It's the inertia required to jump back into a project, because it's been a while since I've jumped into this project. It is a Herculean effort. Is that a phrase? A Herculean effort. Okay, so we have our scripts here, and we have that arena script. I'm going to drag that into this folder here so that it can interact. So that it can interact now, and we can access those namespaces. Okay, So let's open up Visual Studio again. By the way, guys, if you haven't downloaded my 3D course, it's a free 3D course below. Be sure to check that out. It's totally free. There's also a 2D game kit, totally free below, and also a webinar on how to make 6 figures with just a demo. I just teach basically what I do, right? So whether it's how to make 3D games, how to make 2D games or 2D art, or how to secure a relationship with a publisher, I teach about all of that because, well, I've done it all. So be sure to check that out below. You're going to learn from somebody who's actually in the trenches. All of that is totally free. Okay, so if we go to our Arena script here, open that up, and this will all make sense, guys. This is all going to make sense in just a second. So current Arena we can't access for some reason. I wonder why. Player controller does not contain a definition for current Arena. Sure it does. Let's go to our player controller. Maybe I need to save it. Current Arena. So basically this is just going to say, hey, look, if the player enters this Arena trigger, it tells the player controller what my current Arena is so that we can do some checks within the context of the player controller script. Okay, let's keep going down looking for errors here. All right, same sort of errors here. We just need to change the way we're accessing the player controller. Good. So this is checking if we've entered the trigger. It's setting the current Arena. Sweet. It's going to freeze the player. I don't know if I actually have this is a function from the previous, or from the dog game. So let's see if we have a freeze player script inside of our player controller. I can't remember because we haven't been in this project in a while. Freeze game. Freeze game is different than pausing. It will freeze the player and enemies. Good. That's what we want to use. Freeze game, true. Hide UI, true. Good. And are those true by default? No, they're false by default. Well, okay, that one's false by default. Okay, so we're good there. True, true, true. Now it's going to show a camera, and then it will play a camera sound. Good. Excuse me. We're going to go to game manager.player controller, and then we're going to freeze the game. And then we're going to do, no, we don't want to freeze the game. Yep. And then yes. Do we want to hide the UI? False. By default, it's false, so we can just do that. Okay? So look, check it out. The Arena is already ready to go, at least the core script here, and all I had to do was take it from another game we're working on. That's why it's so important, guys, when you're writing your scripts, to make them universal, scalable, generic, okay? I could call this gate system, or dog gate system, or doggy battle system, right? Because we have a whole other game where you can enter an arena and fight dogs. But notice how we kept it very generic, right? We kept it very, very generic because I know we can use this in other places, okay? So keep that in mind. Try and keep your systems for your various games if you have multiple projects. Try and keep that, and even if you're going from one game to the next, right? You're finishing one game, you can reuse scripts if they're written well, or at least intuitively. You can reuse them for your next game. Hey, 3D Printer Academy, how are you? Hey, F1 fan, how are you? Stick Guy, how you doing? Jeffrey Miller, how you doing? McStuber, how you doing? John Doe says, hey, Thomas, I have a question. Do you think AI-generated games will be bad for game devs? This is just my theory, but that most technological innovations are problematic in the short term and beneficial in the long term. Because the infrastructure isn't there. So it could be a functional infrastructure, but it could also be an economic or a social infrastructure. And those things aren't currently here for us. There's not a social infrastructure for those of us who are going to lose our jobs because of AI. There is not an economic infrastructure for places to put all these crappy games that are going to come out with AI. Those infrastructures aren't there. So what's going to happen is a lot of these crappy games, because there's not an infrastructure, for example, on Steam, a lot of these crappy games that are from AI are going to come onto Steam, and Steam's not going to know what to do with them. Granted, what's going to happen is I think the algorithms are just going to need to get better. If Steam wants to make money and Steam wants to mitigate chargebacks, they're going to need a system that can find better games good games, games that actually matter, games that are made by developers who actually care, and not these crappy AI games. So I think it's going to be a net positive in the long run. In the short term, because the infrastructures aren't there, again, functional, social, and economic, because those aren't there, we're going to have a hard time in the next year or two. But it's going to get easy after that, I think. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I articulated that good enough. Okay, guys. Ready? Let's go. Okay, so I'm going to create a new little game object here. We've got a lot going on here, but we're going to add a new game object that's going to contain this drop gate arena. All right. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually create an empty child here, bring it up above, and call this arena. Okay. Arena, not Ariana. Arena. Cool. Hope that helped, John Doe. Okay, so we have this thing called arena now, and the arena is going to have a arena trigger child. Okay. So watch this. What I'm going to do is just come over here and press Control-Shift-F, and the arena empty game object is oriented now towards the center of this room. Then I'm going to set the rotation to 0. That way all of the children are nice and oriented properly. Now I'm going to make a trigger, okay? This is the trigger that the player has to enter into. What am I doing? I'm sorry, box collider. Man, I haven't been in Unity or like done dev work in like a month because I've been doing a lot of marketing and like business admin and art direction. So I haven't been in Unity in a while, and it's slow moving, but it's good to be back. Okay, so guys, I'm going to move this trigger right over here. Now, why did I create an empty game object inside of the arena? Because if I move the arena parent around, it's going to move all the gates around too. So I want everything to be nice and snug inside of this parent game object, almost acting as a folder. Okay, so I'm going to have this arena here, or this trigger here, and I'm going to set it up so that the player cannot avoid triggering the arena trigger. See that? So as the player enters this door, they're going to trigger the arena. So let's go ahead and add arena. There it is. Okay. So as you can see, we have a few things here. Okay. We've got our audio source we need to add. I'm going to drag that up to that. There we go. Arena lock sound. Let's just type in gate. Oh, good. We already have some sounds. Okay. There's our lock sound, arena open sound. So we have a gate open sound. That's fine. I don't need perfect sounds, guys. I just need something. A lock with Unity, if you spam in the chat, you will get banned. Okay, so we've got our arena trigger here. We got all these cool sounds. We don't have our camera set up yet, so let's go ahead and add those in. I believe we can... Nope. Okay. I need to get a new PC. Mine is really starting to fry. Hey Ender, how you doing? Okay, so yeah, I'll probably have a new PC next week because this is ridiculous. Like, it's incredibly slow right now. I don't know if you guys can tell. All right, so we have a game object right here. These are all of our cameras. We have cameras all over the scene, and they're part of these prefabs. In this case, we have lever prefabs where you pull a lever and it basically activates a camera that's pointed at a door. You can see here that we have something called a gate camera. And I'm going to just copy this. It's not an actual prefab, which is kind of sad, but whatever. It probably should be a prefab. But I'm going to go ahead and add this. Sorry, I've got allergies. I'm going to go ahead and add this to my arena. There we go. And look, I could point it towards various doors. I could point, man, itchy nose. I could point it to this door. Control-Shift-F. Look, now it's pointed at that door. Okay. I can, man, I really should create prefabs out of these, sadly. Yeah, I'm going to do it. It's not a good thing. The reason I say that it's not a good thing is because I use other gate cameras that aren't prefabs. So whatever. Anyway, that's a prefab. We can do it here as well. I'm just gonna do two cameras for now, but what we might want to do is have the ability to show 4 different cameras. So do we really need that though? Like, I don't think we do. Let's just do 2 cameras, okay? Let's just, yeah. So it'll be able to shift to 2 different cameras. The problem is if the player enters this trigger zone here and the camera's pointed here, we technically won't be able to see the player, which is odd. So what I might do is set the trigger zone. That stinks. But we're going to do it. Okay, so a camera there, okay? So we have these 2 cameras. We have the arena trigger. So if I drag in my cameras now, when I enter the trigger zone, it should freeze the game and then close each gate. Now, here's the thing. We also want to put these enemies inside of this arena, okay? Not yet though, because I want this arena to be its own prefab. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the arena in to our prefabs. And so now we have this arena prefab that we can use over and over and over again, guys. By the way, if you haven't downloaded my free 2D game kit below, be sure to check that out. There's also an easy 3D course. It's called Easy 3D. Totally free. It's going to teach you how to make a 3D game with Unity, just the basics, and get you started on making your first 3D game. There's also a webinar below on how to make 6 figures with just a demo. So be sure to check all those out below, guys. They're all totally free. I want to see you succeed, so be sure to check those out. Okay, so we've got our arena here. It's a prefab. We've got the cameras. We've got the arena trigger there. Now, what we need to do now is paste the enemies inside of here. So I have these enemies here. We have our little Teletubbies, right? If I take these, I could copy them, delete them, and paste them as children inside of the arena. Edit, paste as child. Uh-oh. What we need to do is paste them and drag them. Uh-oh. What we need to do is drag. There we go. There we go. Yeah, sorry, the positions were all confused. So drag those in. Now we have our Teletubbies inside of the arena. What does that mean? It means that the arena trigger can now look for the parent and then look through and find the children and add them to the required enemies to defeat right here. So the theory is if we hit play, those should get added. Let's take a look. There they are. So if I kill all of these, it should check that they've been killed. And if they have been, the gates will open. Now, here's the problem. If you take a look at this gate system in the arena script, what it's doing is it's
Johnny or Johnny Brush.
It's setting up this Boolean here to be set to true, which is called opened. So we want to make sure that that gate actually has a Boolean called opened true. Okay. So let's see here. Sorry, guys. What we have is closed. So that's in this game, the parameter is closed. Remember, we're pulling a script from another game, from my other game that I'm working on. So we got to change the parameter and invert the Boolean value. So we're going to go closed is the opposite of true. And same here, closed is the opposite of true for the second gate. That's the theory, guys. That's the theory. I have my doubts that this is going to work, but we'll take a look. So if we let's hit play here and just take a look. If we go to scene view here and then pull our animator. Okay. So there's our gate. Drop gate arena. If I set this to close, does it work? Good. And then it opens up. So that's the theory, guys. Let's take a look here. So we're going to put our player here. And what was funny is I was tempted to, I think we have some walkers here. For some reason, they're not showing up, though. Let's take a look. Yeah, we need to set default to true. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to remove these walkers for now. So I'm going to save this scene. These walkers here I'm going to disable because I don't want them to hurt me. One here and one here. Good. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump to my spawn. And I'm going to add my spawn point to here so that we can test this out, okay? Let's hit play. Okay, so if I enter the trigger zone, okay, so it's not a trigger. So that's the first problem. It's always the little things that you're not thinking about. So we're gonna set is trigger, set it to true. Let's see what other triggers are in this game because I want to make sure that they all they're not at a certain layer. So our dialogue triggers, they're set to default. So that means that we should be able to just get away with a normal default layer for this trigger. Okay, so let's take a look. Uh-oh. Okay, so it kind of worked. Oh my! Okay. Kind of worked, guys. Kind of worked. So my theory as to why it's not working is for some reason we're getting caught. I think there might be a null reference. So let's hit play one more time and take a look. Okay. So it froze. We have a lot of different debugs showing up here. So I'm going to make sure we clear these out. We don't want these getting in the way. Okay, let's hit play one more time. All right, man, definitely gonna get a new PC. This is slow. It's like significantly slower than I remember. Okay, let's go. So if I enter this trigger zone, time to die. Okay, index out of range. Good. Okay, so it is a null reference exception. Start go routine, open gate. Arena lock sound. So let's take a look, guys. Ah, yes. So it doesn't, I don't believe, okay, there's an open gate, arena lock sound. Is that what it is? Oh, we haven't set the arena gates yet, Thomas. Okay. Man. So we have that gate there. It's so dumb. We have that gate there, and then we're going to have one more here. That's going to be behind the player, right? And I'm going to go ahead and just do this. Man. Sometimes, I'm telling you guys, sometimes it's so hard to get back into the swing of things when you haven't been in the project for a while. My team's been in the project, but I have not been in the project. Okay, there we go. So this is going to be gate 2, and this is gate 1. And go to the trigger zone and set the drop gates to 1. And, there they are. So we need to set this list here. So drop gate 1 and drop gate 2. Right, guys? So that should do it. Now let's go ahead and go to the actual trigger here. And what I'm going to do is pull it forward a little bit so the player has to enter into here. And I'm just going to make it pretty wide here just to be safe. And guys, a lot of you are probably wondering, man, this is a lot of work for one little arena. Well, once you get the prefab set up, you could just use it over and over and over again, all throughout the game, right? Ender says, you have a team for this game. Cool. Yes, I have a 3D artist and a level designer and a game designer all in one beautiful package, and that's Felipe. He's incredibly talented, smart dude. He's working on this game right now on a different level. Also, AJ is working part-time in this game, AJ Venkat, and he is a brilliant developer. He has done a lot of the code for this game, and I've done a lot of the code as well, so we're sort of tag teaming the code. So that's the team. We've also got a sound or a musician, Chris Palazos, and then we've got a sound designer, Hector Rodriguez. We've also have Gordon Arbor, who's done some code as an intern for the game. So a lot of hands have touched this game. I'm the art director, and I also pretend to make the game while I'm live streaming. Okay, so let's take a look, guys. Here we go. Why? Okay, so things are closing. Just for some reason, we're getting some null reference exceptions, I believe. Okay. No. No. Okay, we've got one here. Value cannot be null. Arena music. Arena music. Okay? We don't have anything for arena music, so we're going to just disable that. Got it? That would be cool. Wouldn't it be cool? Hey. That would be so cool if it just got really intense. Really. That'd be cool. But for now, let's not worry about it. Okay? We'll worry about it when I get a faster PC. Man, this is bad. Things are so slow right now. I can't even think straight. How many of you know the feeling of a PC slowly getting slower and slower and slower, and subconsciously you don't even realize it? And then one day all of a sudden you're like, wait a second. This is really bad. That's what's going on right now. All right, so if I hit play here, we should see our cameras shifting. Although I want to say, yes, these cameras need to be disabled. But I will say that let's see here. Camera enabled. Set object active is true. Okay, so it looks like they're not even enabled here. There we go. Good, and then I disable them by default. Okay, that should do it, guys. Let's take a look. Here we go. There we go. Good, it works. Oh no, I'm gonna die. This is why you get a better PC. My goodness, I can't even kill my own enemies. So that works, guys. Now, one of the big problems we have is the sound. Our audio source is set currently to 2D. So I can't hear things. I would argue that the reason is because our drop gates are set to 3D. So those need to be set to 2D. Okay? Let's try one more time. That's the reason why we couldn't hear anything. We're going to have issues. Oh, man, Thomas, itch. We're going to have issues because there's no checker currently to see if the enemies are killed. But let's just see if we can kill all the enemies. Let's see what happens. So we're going to throw a knife pickup on the floor. It's actually an axe, but we're calling it a knife pickup. Uh-oh. That's not good. Yeah, it played a sound for us. I don't want that. Right on start. Okay. So it's playing a sound by default. That sucks. So what we need to do... I have a couple curious thoughts here. There's an arena open and lock sound. So let's see here. Yeah. So it looks like we can play, we're playing a sound through the arena. So that's going to play which sound, which is open gate. Okay. So here's what we're going to do, guys. We're going to mute these audio sources. We don't need these. These are the gate audio sources. We just want to play a global sound coming through the arena itself that just plays the gates closing. That's what we need to do here. Set the volume to 0. We're going to set it to 3D like it was before. Go to our arena trigger here. You can see that we have it set to 2D, so it should be playing the open sound. So this right here. It should play that sound. So, I don't know. We'll see. So, play one shot, which sound? There we go. There's another one. Is it because the audio source isn't set up? No, it is. Yeah, I'm just wondering why we're not hearing it. So, let's take a look here. No, it's not that, Pixel Heart. But that's a good idea. That's a good idea. Okay, it's playing the right sound. It is playing a sound, so that's good. So it's playing this sound, arena lock sound. I don't know why it's playing the lock sound. That's the thing. Yeah, there it is. So we need to do arena open sound. There we go. There we go. And okay, we're good. All right, so let's hit play here. Take a look. Good. Good. Okay. All right, guys. Why are you shooting at me? Okay, so there's no checker. The checker, this is going to be tough. So basically the checker is going to happen inside of the enemy default script. If someone dies, they need to check the current arena. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up the other game that we're referencing. Remember, we pulled a script from our dog game, okay? So I'm going to open up that script and look at how the checker is happening inside of this. And then we're just going to pull that script. It's that easy, okay? So again, I like to reuse scripts if I can. Okay, so let's go to our enemy script here. Here we go. And let's scroll down and let's see if we can find something that's going to check. I believe that, is there a die in here? Nope. Okay, so I believe it's actually called breakable. So it's extending a class breakable. There it is. So check if I'm in player arena and remove me. I'm going to copy that here. Let's take that, bring it into this. Okay. There we go. And then I'm going to go to this actual function here and take a look. If player.instance current arena does not equal null, so aka if it exists, right? Then if it contains an enemy, then remove the enemy. And then we check if the enemies are defeated. So that's so great. All we do is copy that. Yes, yes, yes. I will take credit for this. I did write this. It's just for my other game. So I'm going to go over here and add this function to my enemy default script here. Check if I'm in player arena and remove me. All right, so here we go. Player controller dot current arena. Boop. Whoops. Check the current arena. Good. Player.instance dot current arena. Man, this computer. Whoa. It's slow. What is this? Contains. What? It needs to be enemy default. Wait, what? This. this. There we go. And it'll check it. And if all of them are removed, guys, the gates will open up, right? That's the theory. Okie dokie. Save. Go back into Unity here. And look at all these wonderful warnings. Don't you love it? Okay. Guys. You ready? Wait, what's that? What's that red? No, we're good. All right, let's test it. Man. Oh no! I suck at my own game. Hold on. Okay, so this is great. Look, I can't run. Oh no, see? That's the point. That's why you lock the player in. As we were talking about earlier, guys, if the player's like having a rough time, like I just did, and again, for full clarity, I will say, I'm running at like 15 frames per second right now. But if the player is having a hard time, we want them to have a hard time. Sure, they can hide behind stuff, maybe go into some extra rooms, but overall, we want to lock them into certain arenas. Just like Painkiller. Painkiller's a good example, I think. Or like Doom, right? Lock the player in, or even Zelda. Lock the player in so that they have to fight, right? So that they can't just run. Here we go.
Time to die.
All right, here we go. So I'm going to do a little bit of cheating here. Whoops. Why aren't you shooting at me? Yeah, we got some things to work out there. I'm not sure why. Whoa. I'm stuck. What in the world? So many weird things happening right now. But that's okay. That's okay. One more try, guys. One more try. It's amazing how awful a game is when the frame rate's low. It just completely ruins the game. Okay, no reference exception. Good, but it worked. Yes! Oh my goodness, I'm so happy. That's great, guys. So arenas are officially here. That wasn't hard, was it? And like I said, guys, you want like, hold on, let's fix this really quick. There was that arena music variable that nope. Stop. That arena music needs to be null. Arena music, play. There we go. That's cool. Yeah. I'd love to be able to have some arena music, but for now, let's just comment it out. We'll use it later. But this really, guys, this really has to do, I think this is a sort of valuable lesson. This would have taken me 4 hours to program. And I'll be honest with you guys, before I started live streaming, I was thinking, well, I'm just going to go ahead and program all this from scratch. Why not? It's a different game, right? I've done an arena before where you lock the player in. But why not just do it from scratch? After all, it's a totally different game. It's a first-person shooter. It's not an adventure game. But as you can see, I literally took these 2 scripts, I pasted them into my project, fixed some of the null reference exceptions, used the same way to hook it up in the game. So that's trigger zones, that's cameras and enemies, and just hooked it up into this game. And we just got that done in 45 seconds. And honestly, I was a little bit worried that this would take a lot longer than that. I mean, even hooking this up, right? Copying and pasting and then hooking up. So if you're making a 2D game, but you've already made a 2D game, then go ahead and just take the code from the previous game. It might look ugly. Bring it into your new game and clean it up. It's really hard for us, I think, to go back to previous projects. It's really scary to open those projects up. But at the end of the day, it's probably going to speed things up for you, especially if you've written a lot of code before, you know how to write functional, scalable code that has good commentary on it with comments, and the variables make sense. I like to actually name my variables. I mean, if you look here, I like to name my variables very specifically, right? I'm not a fan of making my variable names look cool or efficient. I want my variable names to be obvious. So look at this. Optional object 1 to appear after conquer. That's pretty obvious to me what that is. It's optional, meaning I don't have to include it, but it's an object that will appear if the player beats the arena, aka like a treasure chest, right? Optional object 2 to appear after conquer. Now, obviously, guys, this could be an array or a list, but you get the point, right? So, guys, that was fun. If you haven't downloaded my free 2D game kit below, check that out. Also, I have a free 3D course below. Check that out. And I have a webinar below. Check that out. It's on how to secure 6 figures with just a demo. And this isn't just BS. This is stuff that I actually do. This is my job. Everything that I teach, I do, which is something I'm really, really proud of. So if you want to learn from somebody who's in the trenches and learn totally free, click the link below. Check out those free goodies. I want to see you guys succeed. All right. Okay, go ahead, guys. Ask a couple questions. We've got some time for a little bit of a Q&A at the end of this live stream. Hey, Andrew, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, we've got some time for some questions at the end of this live stream. So, guys, go ahead and ask away. Let's keep these questions specific to game dev, obviously. So be sure to chat away, and I'll see if I can answer. Yuval says, the game looks amazing. Thank you, Yuval. That really, really means a lot. What are my PC specs? I don't know. That's the thing is, guys, I'm not a hardware guy. I'm born and bred a Mac guy. I just moved to PC out of necessity. So I have no idea what my specs are. But we could take a look here. It was an Omen 25L desktop, GT12. That's just the name, obviously. I get it. But our storage space is 478 gigabytes, so 500 gig. I think it's SSD. It should be, right? I don't know any of this stuff. But anyway, what is the game name? The game name is Twisted Tower. It's not Father. You tried the 3D course and it's really cool, straightforward. That's awesome. Okay, tips on making my first boss fight, 2D Metroidvania game. Man, how did I do bosses? Bosses are... Man. No, I don't have any. I just treat them like enemies. So I have an enemy class, and then I figure out a way to complicate that enemy class and make it really hard. I don't really have any advice. That one's tough. Jebby. You okay, buddy? You all right? Sorry, Jeb's having a bad dream. Jebby. Hey, buddy, hey. You okay? Come here. Come on. Come on. You all right? Okay. Thomas, are you using Audio Manager for your sounds? Yeah, I am. And we're passing those. If you take a look here, we're passing our Audio Manager sounds through. So everything that has an audio source gets passed into the Audio Manager. Why do we do that, guys? So why are all of my sounds getting passed through an Audio Manager or an audio mixer? Because, let me pull this up here, because that allows us to add sort of global effects, right? So you can mute your sound effects, you can mute your music, you can mute the voiceover or change the volume of various groups and categories, or what, in Unity it's called groups. So look, for example, if I go to escape here, man, it's so slow. Go to options. The menu doesn't look pretty yet. We got to prettify it. But you could go to audio here and tweak the music, the master volume, the sound effects. See? Now they're down completely. Now they're up all the way. Right? So that's why you pass sounds through the mixer, so that you can globally change the volumes of all of those. Otherwise, you'd have to pass it through one audio source. So that's why we're passing it through the mixer. Okay. What in the world? My mouse is stuck. I can't even use my keyboard. What in the world? I think it's because my keyboard is dead. Let's see here. There we go. There we go. Okay. So does that answer your question? Hopefully it does. Okay. Did you find PC better than Mac? Yes, PC is way better than Mac for game dev. Do not get a Mac. Unity runs like a dinosaur on Mac, so don't get a Mac. I've even gotten like the best Mac I could. Well, that's not true, but a very expensive Mac. Okay, and I would open up Unity and it's just slow. It's just slow. So I just gave up on it, and now I just use PC. Believe me, I want to use a Mac. I like Mac mainly because I'm a visual guy. I like the software, the way it looks. I like the way the hardware looks, but I just can't use Unity inside of a Mac, so I ended up getting a PC. All right. How do you make devlog concepts interesting? Well, you have to be thinking about a bigger audience. You want to immediately figure out who your audience is when you're making a devlog. Okay. So what I'm trying to do, and this is probably, we'll see what happens, but what I used to do is I used to say game devs are my audience. But now I'm trying to broaden it a little bit and broaden it to gamers who are interested in creativity, right? It's that generic. Gamers who like creativity. So some ways to come up with great titles for your vlogs is you first have to know who your target is. You're not going to be able to come up with a really great title or topic if you can't first think about who that audience is. Okay. All right, guys, I have to head out. That was really, really fun. Thanks for hanging out. I'll talk to you guys later. Cheers. Get over here. Get down. Hey, thanks for watching. By the way, if you haven't downloaded that free 2D game kit below, click below. It's my treat to you. I used this game kit to make a game for PewDiePie in 14 days, and I actually got to play it with him in front of his audience, which was really cool. This game kit is totally free. It's my treat to you, and you can use it however you want. You can make a commercial game and make $1 million off this game kit. I don't care. Or you could just use it for a hobby project. It's my treat to you. And by the way, If you haven't clicked like, that would mean a ton to me. Hit subscribe. And also, this is important, hit that notification bell. Here's why. If you get notified of when I'm live, you can watch me make my next game and let me know in the chat what you think about the game or any ideas you have. And you might just show up. Your chat might just show up in the next video that I upload. All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye.